welcome everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Leon Marshall. I'm a sports science lecturer. I lecture on the sport and exercise science degree course at London South Bank University. And I'm also the author of The Hidden Science of Melanin. So this is my debut book. And this is going to be a short presentation on the books that influenced my book. So I'm going to be talking about some Black holistic health books that helped me to write my book, The Hidden Science of Melanin. And then we're going to open up the floor for some Q&As for you guys to ask any questions that you have. So, again, for those who don't know me, I do study science. I study science at university. But when I was studying science at university, I found that it was very confusing. So when I left university, I started to work at a university. I made sure that I taught science in a very simplified way. So when I do events at my university, they are very well attended. And if I'm being honest, the reason why they are very well attended is because people are sick and tired of being told lies with regards to how their body works. And the way I break down science, I break it down in a very simplified way that even a 5-year-old can understand. So when we put on our events, they are very well attended. These are pictures from my university. So I'll just book out a lecture theatre and put on an event or put on a lecture, and people get to learn about the true science. And the books that helped me along this journey, because again, when I was at university, I was super confused when it came to science. I was just so confused. And it was because of the way they taught it to me. So when I left university now, I went on a self-discovery journey, and I started to read books that were recommended by my family members, by my sisters and that sort of stuff. And one of the books that my family members recommended was this book here, by Dr. Llaila Afrika, and it's called Nutricide, The Nutritional Destruction of the Black Race, yeah? And it's a very powerful book, and he breaks down all the ways in which we are dying from the food that we're eating. And I'm just gonna show you a little excerpt from the book. And it says, it's kind of cut off there, but I'll read it. It says, "We are dying a slow death by the foods we eat. It is a very slow suicide, hence we don't have the same adverse reaction to it as a quick suicide." So throughout the book, he just breaks down the foods that are leading to this, what he calls a slow death, yeah? And I'm gonna go through some of them. So he says, and this is straight from his book, by the way, there's a section called Foods That Kill. Foods that kill. And he says, refined starches. It says white bread, white rice, white pasta, and anything made with white flour act a lot like sugar once the body starts to digest them. Therefore, just like sugar, refined starches interfere with glucose control and should be avoided by those with any metabolic disorders like diabetes. And when you look in the supermarkets, we're pretty much eating all of these things that he was saying to avoid. And these books that I'm about to show you are very old books. They were written in the 80s, some of them were written in the 90s, and he was saying we need to avoid those things. And now these refined starches is in nearly all of the foods that we eat, yeah? So things like white bread, white rice, white pasta, and a lot of stuff is made with white flour. And there's a part in his book where he says, the whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. So that's a quote from his book. Yeah? The whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. So for those of you who are interested in that book is by Dr. Llaila Afrika, and it's called Nutricide. Once I read that, I was like, who is this guy? This book is so powerful. So I started to realize this guy's got many books on holistic health. And one of his most famous books is this one, African Holistic Health, yeah? And these books that I'm referencing, they're not books to read from start to finish. These books are big, they're quite thick books, and I use them as reference points. Anytime I've got an issue or a family member has an issue, I can look in these books, yeah? So it's called African Holistic Health, and it breaks down the herbs, the vitamins, the minerals, the foods that we should be eating, yeah? He's got recipes in this book, and he even breaks down your sexual personality types. Foods to avoid, I kind of went through some of them. Self-diagnosis charts, Mel Cycle, yeah, and some other stuff as well. So these were two very powerful books that kind of changed my consciousness, helped me to understand health from a black perspective, because when I was at school, college and university, they weren't really teaching it to the point where I could understand it. So when I read these books now, it helped me understand health from a whole new perspective, yeah? Same authors, Dr. Laila Afrika. And for those of you who are interested, you might start looking for this book, African Holistic Health, and you may not, well, you'll find it, but it might be like this, because this is the newer version. So it's the same book, just like a new addition to it. But look at all the things that this book goes through. Disease remedies using herbs, vitamins, minerals, yeah? So any disease that you're suffering from, you could literally go in this book and it will give you the herbs, not only the herbs, but the vitamins and the minerals that you need to reverse that disease. Sometimes they say, like, where's the best place to hide the truth? And some people will say in a book. Loads of people are suffering from health issues, and literally this book was written in, like, I think the 90s. And it's got all the solutions with regards to what herbs, what foods we should be eating, that sort of stuff, how you can diagnose yourself, yeah, dangers of white sugar and that sort of stuff. He's even got another book, and this book is even bigger than this one, called The Complete Textbook of Holistic Self-Diagnosis. And this is his wife, by the way, and he used his wife's face as like a face map. And not too many people are familiar with face maps, but from your face, when you map it out like this, again, using his book as self-diagnosis, it will determine, it can tell you from your face what organ needs attention, what organ actually needs help with regards to energy, what organ is failing, what organ is having issues. So for example, you guys can do this at home. Just take a picture of your face or look at your face in the mirror, and all of these things relate to your organs. So if you've got an issue, let's say you've got an issue around your lips, your bottom lip, that's to do with your large intestines. Your top lip is to do with your stomach, yeah? Some people might get bumps around their mouth. That's to do with your duodenum, so that's your small intestines, and your sexual organs, if you're getting bumps around your mouth. What's your nose to do with? Your nose is to do with your heart, yeah? So you could kind of diagnose yourself with this, and this is just one part of this book. This book is so powerful. So like it says there, simple, easy to use diagnosis methods for non-professionals and professionals to use, yeah? So you could diagnose yourself, not just with your face, but he's got nails where you can look at your nails and you can know what's going on with certain organs. You look at your hands, you can look at your feet, like literally every part of your body. You could diagnose yourself using this book. And again, when I was using these books, they're not books to read from start to finish. These are books to have in your collection, especially if you've got a family, and just reference them. Anytime there's a health issue in the family, let's go to the book. Let's see what's going on. Yeah? Let's look at the person's eyes. Let's look at the person's face. You can literally diagnose yourself. Very powerful book. Yeah? And then obviously, because I was reading these books by Dr. Laila Afrika, he does mention melanin in Nutricide and in the African Holistic Health book. So I was like, and this was decades ago, I was like, well, what is melanin? He's got 2 books on melanin. So what makes black people black? And then this one's the biochemical that makes black people black. So they're kind of like the same book. This one's a bit smaller and more simplified. This one goes into more science. But as it says there, when you read these books, it will tell you how to protect it and nourish it, difference between black and white people, how it causes emotional behaviors and thoughts, and how it is being destroyed. And if you want to hear from the man himself, this is him here. This is an old clip from one of his lectures way back. He's transitioned. He's now with the ancestors. But listen to what he says about melanin. Listen.
Melanin is commonly associated with the pigment that causes your skin to be brown. So we figure that that's what melanin is about. But it's a little more than just the pigment that makes your skin brown. It's what we call the chemical key to life. The more melanin you have, the more civilized you are. The more melanin you have, the more psychic you are. The more melanin you have, the more information your brain can store. The more melanin you have, the faster the nerve transmissions are. The more melanin you have, the more sound you absorb in your ear, so you hear the full range of sound. No other race can do that. The more melanin you have, the more color you can absorb in your eyes. That's why your eyes are brown. You actually see the full color.
And because of that, I was so inspired by his books. I created this course called The Hidden Science of Black Holistic Health. This was over a decade ago. I created this course called The Hidden Science of Black Holistic Health, and I broke down a lot of the stuff that I was learning from his books, and obviously that helped me to write my book as well, Melanin. But as he was saying there, melanin is not just your skin. A lot of people just, if I was to ask people what's melanin, oh, it's, you know, it's the thing that makes your skin black, or it's the thing that makes your skin and hair have color, because everyone has melanin. Everyone has melanin, whether it's in their skin, their eyes, their hair. But again, because we're not being taught the truth with regards to melanin, a lot of people think it's just the skin and it's just to protect us from the sun. Nothing could be further from the truth. The more you learn about melanin, the more you realize if it's not for melanin, you wouldn't be able to see. It's the melanin in your eyes that allows you to see. If it's not for melanin, you wouldn't be able to hear. It's the melanin in your ears that allows you to absorb those sound frequencies. If it wasn't for melanin, you wouldn't be able to taste. It's the melanin in your taste buds that allows you to taste. So now you start to realize, wait, melanin is not just this skin thing that protects us from the sun. It's literally every part of our body, and it's literally, you could argue, the most important thing as well. It's like when you're teaching children about plants. You can't teach children about plants without telling them about photosynthesis and the green pigment in photosynthesis called chlorophyll. That determines everything. It absorbs sunlight, and then there's a chemical reaction that happens inside of the plant that results in glucose and oxygen. Every child is taught that at school, because how else are you going to understand the universe? How else are you going to understand everything you see, whether it's trees, fruits and vegetables, if you don't know photosynthesis? Well, the same should be said with regards to melanin. How are you going to understand how your body works if you don't know the thing that's literally energizing or charging up